Good morning, students. We'll continue with our software testing and quality assurance topic. Yesterday, we had completed the review meeting, review reporting, and record keeping review guidelines. So, today we'll continue with formal approaches to SQA. So, approach is a technique what we take regarding our software quality assurance. So, software quality is everyone's job, that every level they have to do the software quality testing, and that it can be achieved through competent software engineering practices. So it requires certain competent practices which will be taken into consideration or will put forth the practice, so that as well as through the application of technical reviews, through technically we can say it can pass that condition. A multi-tiered testing strategy better control software work product and the changes made to them, and the application of accepted software engineering standards. So this can be done under multi-tiered, means multi-level strategies, testing strategies at every level. Better control software work product. So controlling the software means it is working according to the user needs, as well as the development is done under developers need, and the changes made to them, so updations made to them will also be checked, and the application of accepted software engineering standards, so they pass certain rules and regulations also. In addition, quality can be defined in terms of broad array of quality attributes and measured using a variety of indices and metrics. So in addition, quality can be defined in terms of broad array. Array is a list of values of quality attributes. Attributes means the characteristics, and measured using, so they should be measured also. So to measure them, there are variety of indices. Indices is the raised to values, how many values are there, and metrics is the total count of that particular quality attribute. So, over the past 3 decades, a small segment of software engineering community has argued that a formal approach to software quality assurance is required. So, a normal formal approach with some rules and regulations should be followed is a demand of the software engineering community for working on the software. So it can be argued that a computer program is a mathematical object. So computer totally works on the basics of mathematical object, that is ones and zeros. A rigorous syntax and semantics can be defined for every programming language, and a rigorous approach to the specification of software requirements is available. So rigorous syntax, some formulas as well as semantics method is used to define the programming language. That is what we do in programming. But so that is the reason rigorous means continuous approach is being made for the specification of software requirements is available. So formal approach somewhere is lost, and that is the reason if the requirements model and programming languages can be represented in a rigorous manner, it should be possible to apply mathematic proof of correctness to demonstrate that a program conforms exactly to its specification. So with the help of mathematics, it is general that correctness and demonstration would be more possible enough to show a software working or to show the specification of the software in a rigorous method. So that is what we can do, is with the help of mathematics we can go for a formal approach and give a controlled output or a required output of the software. Next is statistical quality assurance. When we talk about statistical quality assurance, statistical quality assurance reflects a growing trend throughout industry to become more quantitative about quality. So here in this chapter we are learning about metrics. So it becomes more quantitative, more output frequency with the help of quality related problems. So for software, Statistical quality assurance implies the following steps. So there are certain steps which are being implied on the software, and they are: information about software defects is collected and categorized. So information related to the software defects, the problems in the software, the errors in the software are collected and then categorized depending on the need of their problem solving. Next is each defect is traced back to its cause. Each defect is traced back is compared from where it has started with the error or defect, that is the cause of it. Using the Pareto principle, isolate the vital few defect causes. Vital few is if there are some minor problems, we can use the Pareto principle and isolate those problems and make it defect free. Then move to correct the problems that cause the defects in a vital few. So those problems can be isolated and will be solved so that the defect free testing quality assurance depends on that. So here statistical quality assurance is given because they can be controlled with the help of quantitative measures, that is a numerical methodology, so that people could understand that yes, we can be dependent on numerical values, that is counting and tracing back can also be possible here. Next is software reliability, defined as the probability of failure free operation of a computer program in a specified environment for a specified time period. So software reliability is the dependency of an operation is failure free on a specified environment on a specific given period of time. So it should be with no defects. It should be on the actual computer program in a specified environment for a specified time period. That means if I say I need a computer in one room and I need to work on that computer for 2 hours, or I need to do testing for 2 hours, so that is what is the specified time. It can be measured directly and estimated using historical and development data. So past data and developing data can be compared for software reliability. Software reliability problems can usually be traced back to errors in design or implementation. So software reliability problems, the problems related to software reliability are traced in the design stage and in the implementation stage. So how do we measure reliability? So measures for reliability are mean time between failure, that is mean time for failure. If failure is occurring, what is the time taken? How do we calculate it? That is called mean time between failure is called as MTBF, which is equal to MTTF plus MTTR. So MTTF stands for mean time to failure and MTTR stands for mean time to repair. So availability is equal to MTTF, that is mean time to failure, upon MTTF, that is mean time to failure, plus mean time to repair into 100. So this is what is we do with the to check the availability of the software reliability. Next is software safety. So defined as a software quality assurance activity that focuses on identifying potential hazards that may cause a software system to fail. So to check the safety somewhere, what do? We take preventions so that a problem will not occur, and if it is occurring, what is the potential hazard or what is the problem which is making the software system to fail. So early identifications of software hazards allow developers to specify design features. First, they will check the design features and can eliminate or at least control the impact of potential hazards. So starting initial stage, what they can do is they can stop the initial stage of designing problems only, so that the problem starts from there is a one cause. Next is the ISO 9000 quality standards. So quality assurance systems are defined as the organizational structures, responsibilities, procedures, and processes and resources for implementing quality management. So these are the terms in which your quality assurance system works, that is organizational structure, responsibilities, procedures, processes and resources for implementing quality management. So quality management altogether is termed in these sections. So the ISO describes 9000 describes the quality elements that must be present for a quality assurance system to be compliant with the standard, but it does not describe how an organization should implement these elements. Yes, it gives you, now ISO 9000 gives you quality elements in how your quality assurance system must be compliant, like how it should work, but where you should apply it is not the concern of ISO standards. So the ISO 9001 is to 2000 is the quality standard that contains 20 requirements that must be present in an effective software quality assurance. So the next what we say version is there, which has 20 requirements which should be there in the quality assurance system to be followed. Now the next is to in order for a software organization to become registered to ISO 9001 is to 2000, it must establish policies and procedures to address each of the requirements just noted, and then be able to demonstrate these policies and procedures and being followed. Yes, if they want to get registered, they need to go through certain policies and procedures to address, and also should show that we are able to demonstrate these policies in our software procedures. Next is the SQA plan. The SQA plan serves as a template. Template means one specific outframing which we can use anywhere. So SQA activities planned for each software project. So SQA's for plans are first made and then implemented. The SQA group and the project team develop the SQA plan. So that there are two people, the SQA group and the project team, who are going to work with each other. The two initial sections of the plan describe the purpose and the reference of the SQA plan. So the two initial sections are the purpose for what we are doing and references what we are using in it. So the next section records details of the roles and responsibilities for maintaining a software product. So the next step is to maintain what quality we are using, what responsibilities we are taking for maintaining the product throughout the life cycle of the SDLC or throughout wherever it is used. So what does the documentation section consist of? The documentation should consist of project document, models, technical document and user document. So we'll read each one of it. So the project document should include project plan, requirements document, test cases, test reports, user manual and administrative manuals. Models should include ERDs, that is entity relationship diagrams, class hierarchies. Third is technical document, specifications such as test plans, and user documents such as help files. So these are the things which should be included in the SQA plan. So these were the topics which we have covered for this chapter. We'll stop here. We'll continue in the next lecture. Thank you.